This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this May 25th. Holiday havoc. Metro Police are investigating multiple acts of deadly violence across the Circle City over the weekend. We're breaking down what you need to know. Plus, for the first time in months, restaurants in Marion County opening their doors to customers for dine-in service outdoors. We're talking to those business owners as the rebound with new safety measures is now in place. And there may not have been any cars on the track at IMS, but it's still Speedway in May, or it's still May in Speedway, I should say. How Hoosiers kept some of the track traditions alive and created some new ones while waiting for August. But before we get to our top stories on this Memorial Day, I want to thank you for joining us and get a check of our forecast. Todd, a lot of people keeping their eyes on radar if they have any outdoor plans. What can they expect this Monday?
You do have to keep your eye on the radar later on this afternoon, Lauren, but it's just some isolated storms that are going to be flaring up. We're not looking at anything widespread. It's not going to be a line of storms coming through. So if you do have plans, carry on. Do not cancel them on this holiday because of this storm threat. I know I'm going to be at barbecue later on this afternoon. You just got to be aware that these storms could pop up during the peak heating of the day. We're sitting in the cities, 60s and 70s right now across the area. We're 70 in Lafayette, 71 in Muncie. 66 is the current temperature in Indianapolis, and Bloomington is at 64. There were some storms last night that flared up right around 8, 9 o'clock, and then they faded away, and there's still a few lingering showers up to the north and a little more in the way of cloud cover. But overall, we're looking at a quiet start to our Memorial Day, and the first half of the day today will be completely dry. We're not expecting any rain in the forecast whatsoever, so whether you're heading to a state park, a local park, a friend's house, just having people over your house, prepare for the heat, especially if you're going to be outdoors. We're back up into the mid to upper 80s today with just the chance of those isolated storms flaring up this afternoon. We'll talk more about those and look ahead to the rest of this shortened work week coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren. All
right, Todd, thank you so much. We're taking a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the road. So let's look up here on the north side. This is I-465 over the White River. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed in that area this morning. No crashes on the north side to slow down your commute. We'll continue to keep a close eye on those roads, though, and let you know if there are any crashes or delays you need to watch out for this morning. Well, it was a violent weekend here in the Circle City. Metro Police investigating multiple deadly acts of violence. Saturday afternoon, a man was shot and killed at an apartment complex on the city's northwest side. Then Sunday night, 2 men were shot on the east side after getting into an altercation. One of the victims died at the hospital. And on the southeast side, a man died after being stabbed at a home on South Oxford Street near Troy and Keystone. We've also learned that a woman who was shot on the northeast side of town on Friday has died. Police say the woman was found in critical condition around 7:30 Friday evening at 34th and Keystone. After investigating, police found that she was shot at a different location in the 3500 block of East 38th Street near Sherman Drive. The victim's age or name has not yet been released. This morning, there's a vigil for 3 teens struck and killed by a vehicle on the city's northwest side. This happened early Saturday morning near 38th and Kessler. Police say 3 cars were in a chain reaction crash. One of the cars hit the teens. The tragedy has prompted a pastor in a nearby church to renew his call for sidewalks in the area to keep pedestrians from walking across the side of the road. Now, Pastor David Green will host a community prayer vigil at his church, Purpose of Life Ministries, this morning at 10 a.m. Now to the latest on the COVID-19 impact on the Hoosier state. The health department reporting 12 more deaths between May 19th and Saturday. That brings the total number of deaths to 1,824. More than 31,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, with nearly 220,000 people being tested. That brings the positivity rate down slightly, just over 24%. Restaurants in Marion County are now back open, as the Mayor Hogg said allows them to open with outside seating only. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with a look at how the first weekend went. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So we told you late last week that the mayor was going to shut down several roads in downtown Indy so these restaurants can open. And of course, we're here on Mass Ave where this road has been closed since Friday morning, and some restaurants taking that opportunity to open as early as possible as 7 a.m. So we checked in with some of those restaurants to see how their first weekend went. We went to Tavern on South to see how things were going, and owner Steve Geisler says downtown has been very quiet for the last 2 months. Tavern on South has not been open for carryout or delivery, so this was their first weekend back in business. The owner tells us he was just so anxious to get back open, even if it is just a small portion of his normal customers.
The whole staff is back, and we're not utilizing as many people at one time, but since we don't have as many seats available, but they're all working, and they're excited to be back as well, and just getting out of the house and kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy.
The owner says they are taking all precautions to keep staff members and customers safe. He also says their dining area outside has a retractable roof, so even if it rains, they can still dine outside. Now, again, the city did shut down several roads. We've got that map for you over on the RTV6 News app, and these closures are expected to stay in place until at least July 4th. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Verizon Wireless is helping a small business rebound with its COVID relief fund. The goal is to help small, minority, and women-owned businesses. Lick Ice Cream in the Circle City Industrial Complex was chosen to receive $10,000. The store is owned and run by two sisters. Their focus is on the local fruit, herb, and spice-infused ice cream. And the grant money, they plan to hire at least one new employee as they prepare to open their new location at the Coca-Cola bottling plant.
Before this all happened, that was number one on my list. I was like, well, summer's coming. We'll be able to start getting a little bit more revenue and be able to hire somebody. And then COVID happened, and it kind of put the brakes on that. So this has really kind of opened it up to creating jobs for us, which is really exciting.
A total of 750 small businesses nationwide have had to limit access to financial resources that they will receive grants from Verizon and nonprofit impact LISC. Now, the generous donation has sparked a movement in one Indianapolis church. Our Troy Washington is working for you to explain how the congregation is working together to lend a hand to those in need during this pandemic.
We know that so many of the challenges, whether it's housing and food insecurity or access to health care, those aren't new problems. They're being exacerbated by COVID-19. And so our congregation and some other community members are starting to dream about what it would look like to build some supportive housing within our area to support families in crisis and outside of crisis.
St. Luke's Methodist Church is looking at the big picture, but they aren't waiting to work. Thanks to a generous donation from a church member and others stepping up to match that, they're giving back in a major way.
The Benevolence Fund is unique. We had a congregant give us $50,000 as a matching grant. And when we shared that with our congregation, they said, okay, we'll match that and we'll do even more than that. And I think that is what spurred this fund raising this amount of money so quickly, and also people's desire to be of help.
Nicole Caldwell Gross is the outreach pastor. She says the Benevolence Fund has reached $120,000 in no time. The idea is to help those laid off right now or just trying to make ends meet.
People who need help with utility bills and rental assistance and child care and even food, we've been able to help them meet those needs.
This pastor wants to make sure that people know help is available to them, even though the doors of the church haven't been open because of the pandemic.
The church is not a building. The church is a group of people helping others find and give hope through Jesus Christ. And so in that sense, St. Luke's has been and will always be open. And that's not a slogan for us. That is how we live as a community of Christians.
The funds are ready to be used. The church just needs to hear from those who need a hand. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. The church is focused on keeping people engaged during this time. They've also planned a drive-through communion for June 7th, and a virtual vacation Bible school starts on June 8th. It's 5:09. Sunday was supposed to be the 104th running of the Indy 500, but due to the pandemic, the race is postponed until August. That did not stop race fans from visiting Speedway, though. Despite the stands being empty, people are still gathering in and around the track. IMS President Doug Bowles even made his way around greeting fans. He even handed handed out the first 2020 President's Pin. Fans say they just wanted to take advantage of the atmosphere of the track despite the race being postponed.
Well, it is officially race day, and I never had a bad time out here, so I thought it would be a good place to come to. We've been listening to an old broadcast of the race and just enjoying the ambiance.
This would have been my 36th straight race, but it's just the atmosphere, the history. It really takes my breath away.
Well, people are encouraged to visit Speedway all month long despite the race being postponed. Sunday was also Judgment Day for contestants entering the It's Still May and Speedway campaign. Residents there encouraged to show their pride in the community by decorating their porches, yards, or windows. Our day first was one of the judges. Those results will be announced later today. With no cars on the track, IMS officials decided to put the facility to good use this weekend. They hosted what might be the largest food giveaway in state history. That's according to Gleaners, who provided groceries for 5,000 households Saturdays. Recipients got up to 40 pounds of fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, and dairy products. And even though the race is postponed, several Indy drivers showed up to support this event. The food bank CEO says hunger in the U.S. is up 48%, and that's due to the pandemic.
Gave his life so we could be free.
A solemn Memorial Day homecoming for a fallen Indiana soldier. Straight ahead, the life and sacrifice of Sergeant Christopher Curry that was honored this weekend. And Macy's is ready to welcome customers back, including shoppers right here in central Indiana. Coming up, the retailer's plans to keep you safe while bouncing back from this year's big losses. It's 5:11. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Detective premieres Tuesday on ABC.
Well, it was a solemn homecoming for U.S. Army Sergeant Christopher Curry. The 23-year-old died earlier this month from a non-combat related incident while serving in Iraq. Saturday, the community was invited to pay their respects to this fallen hero.
Under dark skies, Terre Haute Police, Indiana State Police, and the Indiana Patriot Guard escorted U.S. Army Sergeant Christopher Curry home.
The Curry family was there and very, very appreciative of what we done. It's been a great honor to bring their son home.
Nearly 100 riders with the Indiana Patriot Guard led the escort from the Indianapolis International Airport on Saturday. Callahan and Hughes Funeral Home in Terre Haute was the final destination. Those in attendance stood in silence as Sergeant Curry was unloaded from the coach. Community members gathered in support and mourning. Navy veteran Rick Vall says it's his patriotic duty to welcome Sergeant Curry back home.
Gave his life so we could be free, and so we should all be thankful that there's men and women that are still wanting to serve our country and defend our country.
It's a solemn homecoming for the fallen soldier. Sergeant Curry was a 2014 graduate of Terre Haute North Vigo High School. He was only 23 years old. Dyer says a family lost more than just a son.
Probably he would have had a wife or a girlfriend. Possibly he would have had kids. None of that's going to happen now in that family. That family lost a whole limb to their family tree.
Dyer encourages the community to remember Sergeant Curry and all those who serve our country.
Reflect what it means to this family and all the families of the veterans that has passed on before us in history, so we could have the freedoms that we have today.
Visitation for Sergeant Curry will be tonight from 4 to 8. Guidelines for numbers and social distancing will be in place. A private memorial service will be held tomorrow, May 26th. Both take place at the Callahan and Hughes Funeral Home out in Terre Haute. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made to Mission22.com, a veteran support agency. Well, this is a family reunion after more than 50 days of quarantine for one Ohio nurse. Sebastian Paz works at an emergency department. As he saw more and more COVID-19 cases, he chose to self-isolate because his 2-year-old son has pre-existing conditions. Well, being a former service member, Paz says he's familiar with being away from home, and that experience also motivated him to co-found VetWad in 2018. It's a nonprofit that helps veterans and first responders cope with mental health issues. News. VetWatt is collecting care packages to send to those on the front lines of the pandemic.
We didn't choose this profession for a thank you or for, thank you for your service or things like that. But I have seen that it's valuable and it means a lot to us whenever we get a gift or whenever we get a letter or a note, a snack, anything really that we weren't expecting, right?
Well, Paz says he knows that the work is not done as the pandemic continues, and he plans to make sure his fellow frontline workers are getting the support and the thanks that they deserve while they keep fighting. What a great guy and a great organization there. We're so thankful for everyone's service on the front lines. All right, Todd, it is Memorial Day, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of people haven't been at work or at school, so in a way we've been home for a while, but a lot of people may be planning some backyard barbecues, so what can they expect in the weather department?
Yeah, as people get out and about a little bit more, and of course outside of Marion County you can go out to eat, so people may be finding some patios for lunch. Here, just know that there's the chance of a few spotty storms this afternoon, but overall it's going to be a pretty dry day. Today is very similar to what we saw during the day yesterday with these isolated storms that'll be flaring up. The heat, the humidity, that will continue today as it's another day that we're into the mid to upper 80s across the area, and for most of this week we are going to be on the warm side of the temperature scale with highs in the 80s. In fact, it's not until probably the very end of the week that temperatures will cool back to more seasonable levels in the 70s. Here at 5:19 this morning, we're sitting at 70 in Lafayette, 71 in Muncie, 66 is the current reading in Indy, and Bloomington right now is at 64 degrees. We had a few showers throughout the overnight hours that worked their way through. They are now to the north, and we're dealing with a little more in the way of cloud cover in northern locations compared to southern locales, but everybody, as soon as the sun comes up this morning, we'll be enjoying partly cloudy skies, and we'll warm very quickly once that sun does pop over the horizon. The organized storms are still pretty far off to our west. They will stay there throughout the day today. You notice the direction they're going. They're making their way up to the north rather than eastward progression. That's because we have this big area of high pressure that is firmly in control off to our southeast. So watch the storm chances on TrueCast here throughout the day, and you just notice a few isolated storms flaring up here and there. We are not looking at a widespread weather, but a couple of you may have to delay or alter your outdoor plans briefly. These storms, if they did flare up, would move through pretty quickly, and then you'll be in pretty good shape again going forward in this forecast. So just know that they're going to be possible, but again, we are not looking at all-day rains or storms that are going to be super severe. There'll just be a little lightning mixed in most of these storms if you see them. Temperatures today into the mid 80s. Here's that forecast if you are grilling out tonight. 87 at 4 p.m. and then cooling off only into the low 80s as the sun starts to set. Going forward in this forecast, it's a pretty common theme. We'll have the chance of isolated storms throughout the afternoon hours, although once we do get to Wednesday and Thursday, they will become a little more numerous as that area of high pressure starts to break down, and that'll open up those storms off to our west to head in our direction. But once the front goes through on Friday, it sets us up for what will be a pretty nice weekend, at least at this point, with mostly sunny skies, lower humidity, and highs that'll be in the mid 70s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads on this holiday. Here's a look right now at I-65 near 38th Street to our northwest. You can see traffic very quiet, both northbound and southbound. All lanes are open and everything is traveling up to speed. It is 5:21. Macy's is reopening more of its stores just in time for Memorial Day shopping. That includes some Indiana locations. The move comes as the company forecasts a loss of more than $1 billion for the quarter. About 80% of the stores will either be open or offering curbside pickup. The company expects all of its stores to reopen by late June. Macy's has put out some new safety measures, including no-touch beauty consultations. Also, alteration services have been suspended, and curbside pickup is now an option. A 1-year-old Virginia boy is cooking up a storm on social media. Coming up, how his baby-faced cooking tutorials are earning him millions of followers. And at 5:30, a little Hendricks County restaurant has people lining up for its big barbecue flavors. Our Brad Brown takes us down to the Rusted Silo in Liston. It is 5:22. Stick around. We'll be right back.
RTV6 is working for you.
Well, a 1-year-old in Virginia is cooking up a worldwide fan base thanks to his skills in the kitchen. We've introduced you to him before, but it's been a few weeks. This is Chef Kovat, and we do have an update for you. His joy of cooking has earned him more than 1 million followers on social media. Wow. Kovat's parents film him while he prepares meals ranging from mac and cheese to Turkish menemen. His excitement has earned him followers from 1.4 million people on Instagram, including celebrity chefs and talk show host, even Rachel Ray. While the fame isn't going to his adorable little head, his parents say he is enjoying the attention.
Starting to get the gist of what the camera is. He's definitely performing.
Oh yeah,
He loves watching himself.
Well, Kovat's parents say they got the idea to start sharing their videos after they started recording Kovat trying new foods to show family and friends. I like how he just takes a bite there while they are talking, Todd. He is adorable. He can come to my kitchen anytime. He looks like he knows what he's doing. That's pretty cute.
Right? He's there seasoning the meat, giving a little taste here and there. So he's got it down pat. It's Memorial Day. Maybe you're grilling out, barbecuing. He's got it down. So you can come over to my house anytime as well. All right, here's your 7-day planning forecast as we look forward to this entire week. Of course, today, most people are off. 87 degrees. Just a spot storm this afternoon. We're not looking at any all-day rains. Better storm chances once we get to Wednesday and Thursday, but temperatures remain above normal as we work our way throughout most of this week, but it becomes more seasonable by Saturday and Sunday. The time now is 5:27. This is Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Show today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Diners returning to some of their favorite restaurants in Marion County for the first time in nearly 2 months. This morning, we're talking with business owners about seeing customers face-to-face once again. Plus, thousands of shipments of PPE expected to make their way to Hoosier businesses this week. This morning, we're breaking down a program that's making it all possible. But first, here at 5:30, want to thank you for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. Happy Memorial Day to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is social distancing again this week, working from home. And Todd, we had beautiful weather over the weekend. And yesterday, I feel like it was so nice. And then the rain in Greenwood just came out of nowhere. My windows were open on my car, so I wasn't thinking ahead. But that's something we need to watch for as we have these hot days, are those pop-up storms and showers.
Yeah, it's the same deal today, Lauren. Don't cancel any of those plans. You may have barbecues to go to. You may be heading to the park or something. But just know that there is the chance of those storms just flaring up pretty quickly during the peak heating of the day. They'll be pretty isolated, and you may not have to wait very long, and you can head back outside. But they're definitely going to be a possibility here throughout the day today. So I didn't highlight the umbrella, which you need to grab before you go, because it's just a pop-up storm here or there. You don't need to carry it around all day long. You definitely need the sunglasses. And don't forget that sunscreen as well, and you don't need the jacket for sure. Already temperatures are in the 60s and 70s this morning. It will warm quickly all the way up into the mid-80s once again. It's quiet on the satellite radar picture right now, a little more in the way of cloud cover to the north, but that is just about it. But going forward in this forecast, again, like Lauren talked about, with the storms flaring up pretty quickly. In her backyard yesterday, it's the same thing today. It's a spot storm, high temperature up to 87 degrees on this Memorial Day. Heat index values, when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like it's up into the low 90s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. It's been pretty quiet out there. It's a holiday and a Monday. This is US 31, a little south of 116th Street. If you're driving through the Carmel area, even on the north side, you shouldn't have any problems this morning. Everything's traveling up to speed. So let's take a turn right now to I-70 near the airport ramps. A heads up between Ronald Reagan Parkway and Ameriplex Parkway all the way to the South Split downtown. The eastbound lanes of I-70 are closed. You can take the collector ramp, though, however, to 465 in order to reroute. We'll continue to keep you updated, but that closure is expected to last through June 28th. New from overnight, investigators are trying to figure out what started a house fire on the city's southeast side. The fire started around 2:30 this morning on Bacon Street, that's near South Keystone and East Troy Avenue. The firefighters say that the home was vacant and no firefighters were injured. It is 5:33 now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak and its impact on Hoosier families. The state health department reporting 12 more deaths on Sunday. The total confirmed deaths in the state is now more than 1,800 this morning. More than 31,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus so far. Now this graph here shows the number of COVID deaths in Indiana since Friday. You can see that downward trend in the numbers just over the weekend. We expect to see how moving into phase 3 of the state's reopening plan impacts the number of COVID-19 cases later this week. Health officials release new data every day at noon. This weekend marks the first time restaurants in Marion County were able to open to customers for outdoor dining. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with a look at how it all went. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So, of course, folks were eager to get out to these restaurants, and restaurants were eager to serve, especially now that the mayor shut down several roads in downtown Indianapolis, giving restaurants the opportunity to feed people outside. But we do want to let you know that some restaurants are requiring you to wear a mask while you're sitting at the table before and after your food does come out. So if you are going to come down and eat in Indy, make sure you have a mask with you just in case. So we checked in with Downtown Ollie's. The owner says they opened as soon as they could at 7 a.m. on Friday. He says crowds have been steady all 3 days. He's hearing from customers who say they were ready to get out and be social again. When dining rooms were forced to close, they did carry out and other services, but the owner says it was only 15% of their normal business.
I think we were ready for it. I think there's always differing opinions. I think we could have gone at the same time that the governor announced the reopening of restaurants on May 11th. We really could use our in-house dining. That would be great if we could do that. But we're hoping that the mayor of Indianapolis allows us to go into indoor dining June 1st.
The owner of Ollie's says he was able to keep his staff on these last 2 months due to the Paycheck Protection Program, but they have been ready to get back to work, and he says everyone, including the customers, has been doing a good job so far at practicing social distancing. Now, all these roads that are shut down, you can see a map over on the RTV6 News app or the IndyChannel.com, and it is expected to stay like this until at least July 4th. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. As part of Stage 3 of the state's Back on Track plan, gyms and fitness centers in most counties can reopen with social distancing procedures. Eat the Frog Fitness in Carmel opened its doors on Sunday. We visited Eat the Frog to see what precautions they're taking to keep everyone safe. When you walk in, the doors are wide open, temperatures are being taken inside, and you'll be screened before going through a hands-free check-in process.
Go slowly, get it right, make sure that we do our part to continue to flatten this and push things out so the medical community can stay upon it. We did not want to come into this haphazardly or not take it seriously and just go back to business as usual, because it isn't that.
It felt fantastic. I was really happy to come back. Eat the Frog has been really great about communicating everything that's been going on since the COVID situation started. And today the rubber met the road, and we all had to make a decision to come back into the gym, not just for ourselves, but for our families.
Inside the studio, since they're only operating at 25% capacity, spots are marked on the floor, each one separated by 6 feet. The Mass Ave Fitness Center will eventually reopen once Mayor Hogsett allows gyms and fitness centers in the county to move to Stage 3. The state says that a program to help supply businesses with personal protective equipment is expected to send out 15,000 orders next week. The program will help businesses gain access to things like masks and hand sanitizer on the PPE marketplace. The governor's office announced the program earlier this month as part of a plan to reopen the economy safely. On Friday, officials said more than 20,000 orders have already been shipped. The program connects small businesses and nonprofits with PPE that can be acquired through the state.
The last few months have not been easy for anyone, and at the IEDC, one of the highlights has been hearing from Hoosier businesses who have been able to reopen in the last few weeks. Hoosiers like Mark Coleman of Valparaiso, who is having issues finding any PPE for his business, who declared it was like Christmas morning when he got his bundle.
The state says initial orders are fulfilled at no charge. This morning, the effort is still underway to create a tiny house village for people experiencing homelessness. The pandemic is changing the way fundraisers can be held, so in an effort to raise money to build the Circle City Village on the west side of Indianapolis, they're holding a virtual 5K. The tiny house village is being planned near Lyndhurst Drive and Morris Street on land donated by Lyndhurst Baptist Church. Their goal with the virtual 5K is to raise up to $2,500.
Every dollar that we raise, we're excited to get to build another home. And so I think that's exactly what that interprets to. So, I mean, very critical. I know that in this time, a fair amount of folks have been laid off. And so we know that we may see an uptick in the number of folks that will be requiring our homes.
You can also sign up to run a 10-mile, which organizers say is the average distance a person experiencing homelessness travels to meet their basic needs on a given day. The goal is still to start construction on the Circle City Village by the end of the year. We've put up how you can sign up for the race on the RTV6 mobile app. It is 5:39. Let's check in with Todd and see what we can expect in our Memorial Day forecast. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, Lauren, more heat, more humidity, and again, that chance of storms in the afternoon. Good morning to you, and good morning to everybody at home. It's going to be a very summer-like Memorial Day forecast for us here. I don't want you to cancel any plans if you do have them because of the storm chance. It's just going to be a very hit-or-miss storm throughout the afternoon hours. Temperatures this morning are sitting in the mid to upper 60s across the area as you get going, and you can see the radar is completely quiet. There's just a little more in the way of cloud cover here up to the north, and a few showers that we did have yesterday evening that popped up. They have now basically faded away and moved off to the north as well. So going forward today, the main weather headline is going to be the heat once again into the mid to upper 80s. The secondary headline will be the chance of the afternoon storm that'll flare up. Not looking at any severe weather, I don't think, throughout the day today, although there could be the chance of just an isolated storm that will produce the lightning, which will make it dangerous. So storm shield, not a terrible thing to have. You can control the radar as well and check on the storms as maybe they move closer to your neighborhood. If you do have a barbecue, we'll talk more about the rest of your forecast in detail coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. We hear a lot about those working on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic, but in the next 5 years, Indiana will not have enough nurses to help keep Hoosiers healthy. We're working for you this morning and introducing you to a program that's helping to fill the void. And dramatic moments to round out this weekend's NASCAR race in Charlotte. We're also looking at when you'll be able to catch your favorite IndyCar drivers back on the track. It is 5:40. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Our Money Bonus Days going on now.
It is 5:44. Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers is committed to helping you find work and career opportunities that are still available during the pandemic. The need for nursing is growing. According to the Bureau of Health Workforce, Indiana will have a deficit of more than 20,000 registered nurses by the year 2025. WGU Indiana, an online university, targets students living in rural areas that are underserved by higher education. The director of nursing program says WGU is also a good option for non-traditional students.
There's a lot of nursing programs that meet the needs of the 18-year-old right out of high school, and plenty of programs for that. Our program works with older adults. My average student is 37 years old, has a full-time job, and is raising a family.
Well, Mary Carney says the pandemic has not led to any drastic changes in this program. Students already take classes remotely. For more information, you can go to hiringhoosiers.com. It's 5:45. Here's a tasty way to cool off this Memorial Day to help maintain a Fountain Square staple. You can shop by the wine market. The Fountain Square Merchants Association is running low on keeping funds to keep the fountains on Virginia Avenue going. The wine market has been one of the few storefronts that stayed open in the last 2 months. It offers more than 70 different bottles of wine slushy kits, and to-go food. The owner says that they want to do their part to help maintain the beauty and charm of this community.
Fountain Square wouldn't be what it is without the fountains. So many people go down, take pictures all day, hang out in the area. We have programming and free concerts. So we really need to come up with better ways to help make that sustainable. Our small part, I think people will show up to help do so and make it possible. I mean, we're just a conduit to hopefully pass on the money.
If you missed this weekend's event, the wine market will donate $2 from each slushy sale and $1 from all next of their items next weekend to the Fountain Square Merchant Association to keep the fountains running. They hope to raise $5,000. The wine market's open every day from noon to 8 p.m. for carry-out only. All right, it is 5:46. Maybe you can head on down to Fountain Square today on this holiday. Todd, it's going to be an overall pretty nice day for our Memorial Day.
Yeah, I was right past the wine market yesterday as I rode my bike on the cultural trail there, and it's a good day to get out and about again, Lauren. It's going to be a little warm, very similar to yesterday, a little humid, and there will be the chance of some afternoon storms that'll flare up, but they're going to be on a very isolated basis. Here's a live look from IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis. So you're looking to the east, and the skies starting to brighten here already at 5:46 this morning. Temperatures sit in the 60s and 70s currently across the area. It's just a very, very warm morning for us here across the area. The humidity is out there, and I had to turn on my air conditioner for the first time yesterday. Not so much for the warmth in my house, but just kind of knock the humidity down a little bit. So you may have had to do the same thing as well. Satellite radar picture shows a little more in the way of cloud cover to the north, clear skies down to the south. There's some spotty showers that were out there earlier this morning. They basically just faded away, and we are going to be left with that hazy sunshine once again today across the area. The main storm track is off to our west here from Omaha down to Oklahoma City, but notice the direction these storms are going. They're all basically just moving to the north. There's no real easterly movement to them. So all our storms today are going to be produced by the daytime heating and simply just going to kind of flare and pop up. So it's a warm Memorial Day for us. It's going to be a mainly dry Memorial Day. Temperatures starting already about 76 degrees at 10 a.m., heading up to 87 degrees by 4 p.m. This afternoon with that spot storm chance flaring up. And you can see that here on TrueCast. Nothing widespread, but if you do get caught in one of these storms, it's going to rain quite heavy for a brief period of time. And obviously, if there's some lightning, you need to take your outdoor plans inside. Don't try to stay out there on the lakes or the streams or wherever you are with this lightning across the area. And then once the sun starts to set, a lot of these storms will fade away. It's probably about a 20 to 30% chance of an isolated storm in your neighborhood as we go forward throughout the day. Tomorrow, 85 to 87. It's another warm day for us. As we go to Tuesday with just those isolated storms flaring up in the afternoon. The storms become a little more numerous Wednesday into Thursday with temperatures in the 80s. And then once the final cold front pushes through on Friday, it'll usher in cooler temperatures, but more seasonable weather. Saturday and Sunday at this point looking great. Mostly sunny skies, low humidity, and Lauren, high temperatures in the mid-70s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out on the roads right now. This is a live look right now at I-70 near Sherman Drive over on the east side. Both directions of I-70 are back open after long-term construction by NDOT, and you can see traffic is moving along up to speed. Each year, the Coca-Cola 600 remembers the fallen on Memorial Day weekend. Typically, the stands at the Charlotte Motor Speedway are packed with fans. Well, this weekend, the stands were silent as cars roared by on a bit of a rain delay. The tire blown out by Chase Elliott on lap 398 sends the race into caution and overtime. Brad Keselowski takes advantage of the restart and wins the race. NASCAR races on again Wednesday in Charlotte. The sounds of roaring cars and more than 300,000 fans missing from 16th and Georgetown Road over the weekend, but IndyCar leaders say they are excited to kick off the season in less than 2 weeks. The first race of the season will be June 6th in Fort Worth, Texas, under the lights. It too will be without fans. IndyCar drivers will be back home again in Indiana for a doubleheader with NASCAR on the road course at IMS on July 4th. Grab a seat by the railroad tracks for a box of barbecue. If it sounds like a good way to spend a spring evening, we've got just the place for you. Coming up, see how the smoke coming from this restaurant in Liston is getting so much attention. It's 5:50. We'll be right back.
Weeknights at 5:30.
Well, sometimes the best places to eat are just a little bit off the main road, and you'll find some amazing food in the most unexpected places. To finish off the week, our Brad Brown took us over to Hendricks County, where one little restaurant has been lining up people with some big barbecue flavors.
In this little shack by the tracks on the edge of Liston, you'll find what just might be the best barbecue anywhere in Indiana.
We start with a great product. We add time-honored tradition cooking methods, and finish up with something that's bare bones. It's not fancy.
Welcome to the Rusted Silo in Liston. Rob Eckers is the meat magician manning the smoker, a barbecue guru of sorts.
We still cook over an open pit flame with the smoke, hardwood, and that gives a different character to the proteins that you're smoking.
For the past 2 years here, the crew has been rolling out award-winning ribs, chicken, pork, and more.
You build a fire. Go out in your backyard and build a fire. How many people show up?
Turns out a whole lot of people. The switch to carry-out only has not slowed demand one bit.
It really showed the mettle of our team, the way they came together, creating new procedures, how we pretty much did everything. It's been fantastic for us to be able to continue to serve our community.
And the community has been giving back as well. Several Hendricks County businesses have teamed up with the Rusted Silo to help feed doctors and nurses, as well as families in need of a good meal.
There's just tons of people that came together that all we want to do is help. They've been great to us and keep us going nonstop. So let's give back somehow, some way.
We are going to remain takeout only through the end of phase 4.
Rob posted on Facebook that he'll be sticking to carry-out only through July 4th. They've added seating outside, and he says right now what's working is working out well.
We wanted to continue to make it easy for everybody. A lot of families, love to come out and sit at the picnic tables and watch the trains go by. Most people have been locked up for 6-8 weeks in their house, going crazy. And we want them to relax and have a good time and enjoy themselves and enjoy good food.
All right, that looks pretty good. If you are planning a backyard barbecue or really heading out to eat, anything you want to do outside today, Todd, what can people expect?
I'm just over here, Lauren. My stomach's growling, and I'm ready for that barbecue. That looked so good. Thanks, Brad. You're right, Lauren. If you're making your way outdoors for a barbecue today, it's going to be warm. There's the chance of storms, but I don't want you to cancel any outdoor plans if you do have them. We are going to have the chance of an isolated storm, but we're not looking at anything widespread. We're in the 60s right now. We're going up to 87 degrees for your high temperature with those warm and muggy conditions. But again, the storm chances this afternoon, just very spotty. Think yesterday, not Saturday. Saturday, they were a little more widespread. Yesterday was just a pop-up storm. Today, once again, it's a pop-up storm here or there. So just know they're possible. You may have to take your plans indoors for a brief moment, maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and then you'll be back outside enjoying the time with the family.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Your child's academics may not be top of mind as many families are struggling right now just to put food on the table. Now at 6 o'clock, I'll show you how one nonprofit is working to help Hoosier children get the literacy skills they need before kindergarten. And the time right now is 5:57 here on your Memorial Day weekend. It may not be what we're used to here in central Indiana with the race postponed until August, but you can still see some Speedway spirit around the area, like right here on the JW Marriott. We hope you have a safe commute. We'll be back with more here at 6 o'clock. Stick around.